Cross over the border from Brownsville, Texas into Matamoros, Mexico, and the world changes. New free trade policies in the United States and Mexico have created a public health and environmental disaster for the people here. The companies moved to Matamoros for the low taxes and cheap labor. They often ignore pollution control and worker health standards. Much of the blame lies with the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA.
U.S. companies find it very attractive to move their operations to places like Mexico because Mexico has cheap labor, low taxes, and very lax environmental regulations. Moreover, NAFTA contains rules that permit corporations to sue governments if they attempt to ratchet up environmental protections in ways that might hurt the company's profits.
Matamoros lies in the state of Tamaulipas, just across the border from Brownsville, Texas. People have come to Matamoros from throughout Mexico, seeking jobs in one of the hundreds of new American factories. These factories are known as maquiladoras. The name comes from the word maquiler, to assemble. Since NAFTA passed, the population of Matamoros has doubled. When the job seekers arrive, some of them are fortunate to find work, but they also find a city without clean water, sanitation, or adequate housing. The small amount of tax revenue that is generated by their employers, the maquiladoras, goes to the federal government, not to the cities like Matamoros. The result is that Matamoros has little funding to care for its citizens.
NAFTA has encouraged American companies to move across the border, set up shop, but once they're there, those companies ignore their environmental responsibilities. They pollute, they ignore worker health and safety, they contribute nothing to the local community to support basic quality of life.
The Stepan Chemical Facility is owned by a company based in Chicago, Illinois. Due to its high toxicity, a facility like this should not be located anywhere near a residential area. A leak could be an environmental disaster. Pollution inside the plants is often worse than pollution outside. Workers making products that we use every day, like TV sets and car parts, are frequently exposed to toxic chemicals and solvents with few safety precautions. Worker safety issues are a major problem. Maquiladoras have little regard for the impact they have on the local surroundings and people. Trucks sometimes collect waste from the maquiladoras and dump it directly into open sewer systems. Contractors are hired by the maquiladoras to get rid of solvents and petrochemicals. The maquiladoras then turn a blind eye to where the chemicals end up. The environmental regulations in Mexico are poorly enforced. Under NAFTA, corporations can and have sued governments to recover the costs of complying with environmental laws. These clusters of squatter homes form what are known as colonias, the neighborhoods where the maquiladora workers live.
All the toxic waste, all the sewer and water, it comes through here, picks up all the trash, dead animals, all this ends up in the Gulf, untreated.
Severe air pollution contributes to high asthma rates along the border. Thousands of families live in dirt floor shacks with no running water or electricity. They construct their homes from wood pallets discarded from the maquiladoras. This is the Matamoros Municipal Dump. It was funded by a loan from NAFTA's Development Bank and was supposed to be a state-of-the-art facility with a lifespan of more than 10 years. 3 years after it was built, it's completely full.
It cost about $4 million. It was a $4 million loan to the city of Matamoros. But Now the city of Matamoros is spending a lot of money just paying off the interest because they can't pay off the whole loan.
The fires at the dumps are lit by the pepenadores. They scavenge their living by recovering anything and everything that can be recycled from the dump. Burning tires fill the air with toxic smoke.
Cow skulls are collected by garbage pickers for resale to companies that use the bone. Their homes are right next to this huge pile of rotting, stinking cow skulls. It's the most vomit-inducing smell you've ever encountered.
There are no laws being adhered to. There is no observance of health issues, related to people living here. Regulations, restrictions with regard to building a dump site, they're just ignored, and it's just there.
The people who live in Matamoros are attracted by the jobs that the maquiladoras promise. And they ended up living in shabby houses with no water and sewers, getting sick with disease.
In hospitals like this one, doctors are finding an alarming incidence of neural tube disorders, severe birth defects of the brain and spine that are linked to chemical pollution.
De 0 a 14 años.
From 0 to 14 years, there is a 10% of the population that has some kind of a health problem. And out of that 10%, 4% are one might describe as severe or profound cerebral palsy, deafness, etc.
$3 billion was initially promised by NAFTA for environmental projects to prevent what's occurred in Matamoros. Less than 10% of this has been spent.
What we've seen in Matamoros, Mexico, is a paradise for these American industries, but really a disaster for the people who live in the communities around these factories.
As the once flourishing fishing industry just outside Matamoros grinds to a halt because of the pollution, the United States continues to expand to the rest of the Americas, the trade agreement that helped cause this situation.
What we've seen in Matamoros, Mexico, is the human face of globalization. The Bush administration now plans to expand NAFTA throughout the Western Hemisphere, all the way down to Chile, creating a free trade area of the Americas. The challenge here is that we expect more communities of this sort will be created that lack the basic conditions for a decent quality of life.